What is going on, everybody? It is Melted Gore, and this is the truth about being the president. So every term we get a new president, and every term we get more people bitching. I'm not going to go in depth with politics, with Democrats and Republicans and all of that. I'm also going to keep things in the middle. I don't want to make things one-sided. I just want to stay in the middle, prevent problems, bitching, all your comments, stuff like that. I just want to stay kind of neutral with this topic. Blah, 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 bitching, bitching, bitching. I want to avoid that. I personally don't follow politics at all, actually. I think the whole thing is kind of just a pain in the ass, a waste of time, because either way we get screwed somehow. And everything gets jacked up. Whether it's the president or Congress or whatever, so I don't really follow it myself. I think the whole thing's a waste because no matter what, Americans will always find a reason to bitch. Americans have a great way of never being satisfied. We turn every little thing into a problem or some issue, or somebody did this wrong or somebody did that wrong or whatever. All these stupid issues that we come up with that are problems, it just causes our Facebook feeds to be spammed with shared posts about this person did this and that person did that and this is terrible and blah blah blah. I don't get why anybody would ever want to be president. With the shit they have to put up with, fuck. Basically, you really get little control over anything, regardless of what people think. Plus, you've got half of the country's population hating you, and the other half loving you. And it's just it's a never-ending fight between half of the population with the other half. And I think a lot of the hate that Obama got was honestly just a lot of racism happening, because it was the first African-American president, and there's a lot of assholes out there. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that anybody would ever judge somebody over their race, so far as to make them share their personal birth certificate. I think that's the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened, and the fact that America has gotten to that point is just ridiculous. Do we really live in a world where a president has to share their birth certificate just to prove they're not Muslim or whatever? Like, seriously, what is wrong with you people? People not realize there are certain credentials you have to meet in order to be the president? Or are people just assuming they let anybody do it? The reason Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't be president is because he wasn't originally born in the U.S. So why would they let Obama do it if he wasn't from the U.S.? Also, one thing people don't really realize about the president is they think they have this abundance of power that they can just pick and choose any little thing and just fix or change it, when really everything they try to do gets shit on by Congress. Let's take Obamacare for an example. Now, I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but I'm not saying it's terrible. The original idea was actually pretty good, getting health care for those who can't afford it and being able to treat them without slamming them with bills. The idea was a really great idea in my opinion, but then everything kind of got shit on and changed and regulated and blah blah blah, and it all went to hell. Now everyone hates it. And I think a lot of that isn't really the president's fault. I think part of it is, but a lot of it also has to do with the rest of the government that everyone seems to forget about, and they just blame the president. Which is another reason I would hate to be the president. People blame the president for every little thing. My shoes came untied. Stop bitching about it. It's the president's fault. Basically, being the president is like being a nerd in high school. Everybody bullies you, picks on you, calls you whatever, treats you like garbage. You are just the face of the country that everybody gets to blame for everything, even if it's something you couldn't even control. I personally feel bad for Obama, not just because of that stuff, but just the fact that his race is getting all of these problems. It's great to see that our country is moving towards a world full of racism. It's great that we're living in a more diverse society where everybody gets blamed for their race. All this unnecessary racism. A lot of people thought Obama was Muslim, and it got to the point where he had to release his birth certificate, which is a personal document that you shouldn't have to share just to prove something like that. First of all, being Muslim is a religion. It's not a race, like a lot of people were saying. And just because you're Muslim doesn't make you a terrorist. It's a damn religion. I could say the same thing about Christians and say, oh, all you Christians, you're terrorists because it's a religion. That's stupid. And you know how many people that are Muslim aren't terrorists and were born in the U.S. and it's just their belief? Back the fuck off. Obama could very well be Muslim, and more power to him. Who gives a fuck? But that you have to be the president and blamed for everything on top of being a different race than white. So you're getting stereotyped, criticized, derogatory terms towards you, and just all this negative shit on top of being blamed for everyone's problems. Do you know that roughly 37% of the United States is not white? Which means 37% of the U.S. is most likely being made fun of or having derogatory remarks said towards them. Now, I'm not saying every single white person in the U.S. is racist. I'm just saying that there's too much of it. And a lot of it comes from these people that preach Jesus and think they're going to heaven because they love everybody, when really they flip and all of a sudden they're judging people based on their sexual orientation and all of this bullshit. Personally, I think the president doesn't get paid enough for what they have to put up with. Fuck that. The president gets paid about $400,000 a year on top of some expense accounts that are accessible at any time. Compare that to a surgeon. The average surgeon in the U.S. makes $501,000 a year. Compare that to an actor who roughly makes anywhere between $300,000 to millions a year, depending on your status. Now, actors put up with a lot of stress. They have to deal with the paparazzi, publicity, judgments, that shit. It's very competitive, very stressful. And they get paid well, so well that it's worth it. Did you know that the cast of The Big Bang Theory, including Jim Parsons, Johnny Galecki, and Kaylee Cuoco, make $1 million per episode? Now let's say there's 20 to 30 episodes per season. That's $20 to $30 million for half-an-hour episodes. Now be president for 4 years, where you get $400,000 a year. That's $1.6 million over the course of the term. Is that really worth it? Fuck that. I don't think so. Presidents also age faster than the average American due to all the stress and stuff they're put under. If you ever notice that any president walks into the White House with really nice shiny black hair and they leave with gray hair, and that's over the course of 4 to 8 years depending on their term. So before you ask, I also don't vote. I don't vote because I don't follow politics, and I don't believe in voting for something I'm not following or care about. And I know that's probably a shitty thing to say, but honestly, politics is too much of a pain in the ass for me to even bother with. I think that the people of America need to change before the country's problems do. People are the problem, not the president. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, because thumbs are cool when they're up. They're better than when they're down. Down is negative, up is positive. So smash that. Punch it. Kick it in the dick hole. I don't care. See you guys later.